This video is brought to you by Paperlike.
What is going on, guys? Native Brits 93 here with another video, and this is going to be my last video covering the Folio Touch, at least for the time being. I felt like, I've touched on it as much as I can, but I did want to make this last follow-up video and give you guys my final take on it, because you guys did have some follow-up questions, especially to my last one, which I compared it to the Magic Keyboard itself. So without further ado, guys, let's get this video started. So just to give you guys a quick little overview for those people that don't know much about this product, this is the Logitech Folio Touch. It is their new keyboard case with a trackpad that's made specifically for the iPad Pro 11-inch only, so no 12.9, and it works with the 2018 and the 2020 model, right? So I have the 2018. You can see that the cutout is a little bit weird because it's made for the actual 2021, but outside of that, it fits perfectly. So no need to worry if you have a 2018 model. And what makes this keyboard case so compelling is the fact that Apple and Logitech work together, or at least maybe Apple licensed out their Apple driver or their Apple trackpad API kit to allow them to build this trackpad and let it be used how Apple intended it to be used with the trackpad with iPadOS 13.4 and higher. Like you guys have seen people like Bridge, other third-party accessory brands that have made Bluetooth keyboards with trackpads. They just don't work that well. There's a lot of jitter that goes on. It's a lot very, very inconsistent. It doesn't feel right. Maybe on the Bridge side, it does feel premium, but it doesn't work on a functional basis. Versus this one, if you guys saw my video comparing it to the Magic Keyboard for the iPad Pro from Apple, the trackpad is identical in functionality in comparison to each other. So keep that in mind if you're trying to make a decision just purely based on trackpad functionality. Another few things you guys should definitely take into account. So this now connects via smart connector, so you never actually have to charge the device itself or the keyboard itself because it draws power from the iPad Pro. So that's an awesome thing. You guys can see that it does cover the entirety of the iPad, all the sides, all the corners, the front, the back. There's cutouts for the speaker grills, cutouts for the USB-C port, and just so you guys know, it fits pretty much every single USB-C port or every single USB-C plug, so no need to worry about it not being able to fit or not being able to charge. So from a protection standpoint, this thing is great. If you drop it, you'll feel safe, but just know that this is thicker than the iPad Pro with the Magic Keyboard, and the keyboard itself actually weighs more than the Magic Keyboard for the 11-inch. The Magic Keyboard weighs about 600 grams. I believe this one weighs about 650 grams. So obviously not crazy amounts of weight, but it is heavier and thicker. But you do get a lot more protection and peace of mind that your iPad basically just won't break in this thing. So that's pretty much the overview. It's basically the only third-party accessory for the iPad Pro that has a viable trackpad option, aside from the Magic Keyboard itself. So that is the overview in a nutshell. And now what I wanted to do was answer a couple questions that you guys had in the comments in terms of actually following up on the keyboard itself, right? The first thing you guys asked was with the smart connector, right? So the smart connector itself is on the back of this casing right here. So this actually never comes off. So people were asking me, when you go into handwriting mode, yes, you do feel the keyboard, but I don't know what happens. The keyboard, I'm pressing the keyboard all over and nothing, it's not recognizing. So I don't know what Logitech did in here. Maybe there's some sort of sensor, accelerometer, because I don't know what the point is where it does work how it's supposed to. So when I lay it on the table like this, you can press the lock button and it locks. But when I go all the way around to the back, if I press that same lock button, it's not working. I have to press on the screen. So that's kind of cool. I don't know what the technology is behind that, how they're sensing that it's all the way flipped back, but that's cool. So keep that in mind. You do not have to worry about this being an issue. Obviously it's exposed and it could be annoying, but it's the same issue we had with the original Smart Folio keyboard case. So the number one thing you guys wanted to know was how flappable this design was, and I'm gonna show you guys right now. So here it is. I got it open already. So I would place it down on my lap like this, unhinge it, kind of break it open, and then pull this out. And it is long. It's a little bit strange. Don't mind all the wires down here, guys, but I mean, is it usable? I guess it is. It's not very comfortable. I definitely wouldn't do it for long periods of time, but it does work. The keyboard does, you know, it types, it is staying there. And what is cool, I did actually notice that Max Tech mentioned this. The fact that the hinge is loose, right? It kind of moves on its own, allows it so when you are moving your knees back and forth or something's going on, the keyboard kind of stays where it is while the actual screen itself moves around with your knees. If you can kind of see what I'm telling you. So this is moving the actual screen itself, but the keyboard is staying solid. And also, just so you guys know, the keyboard is very, very sturdy. Like, you will not be able to accidentally break this, at least. You can probably break it on your own if you want to bend it, but it is very sturdy, and I wouldn't worry about the build quality of the keyboard being too flimsy. The next big question you guys had was, is it viewable or usable in bed while laying down? Unfortunately, no, it's not, unless you use it in handwrite mode or you take the iPad out totally. If you want to stand it, the angle is gonna not be close enough to your face or angled down enough, because this does not go past 90 degrees. So you have that 180 to 90 degree angle that you can bend it back, but from 0 to 90, it's unusable, essentially. Unlike the Magic Keyboard, which you can do that. And then the last thing you guys wanted to know was, how hard is it to take this thing out? So what I would recommend, obviously take the pencil off and then just use the cutout back here to push the iPad through. And this lip kind of does move a little bit. So you just pop it out, and then little by little, you just start to pry it. I would just be careful not to bend your iPad, but just know it's not gonna be an easy feat. Again, it took me 10 seconds or not even, but just so you guys know, that's what you're dealing with when it comes to, you just got rubber sides that protect everything, and it does cover it all up, which is awesome and beautiful. So those are all the questions that you guys really had in terms of a follow-up for this accessory for the iPad Pro. All in all, like, I think this is a great purchase. $160 to give you the same functional experience that the Magic Keyboard does from a keyboard and trackpad perspective. On the 11-inch, you're saving pretty much half price. You're going from $300 to $160. So do I think this is worth it? Absolutely, from a functional standpoint. Like, the iPad Pro Magic Keyboard is not 50 times better from a functional standpoint. Now, from a look standpoint, that's where you're gonna have to make a decision on your own, right? Do you wanna spend another $140 to get the Magic Keyboards because it looks pretty, it's floating, you know, it's a more compact design, you don't have a kickstand, things like that? Then that's up to you to decide. But from a functional standpoint, this is a better purchase if you only have the 11-inch iPad Pro, because you can do everything that this can do, and you have a function row of keys that the Magic Keyboard doesn't. So from a functional standpoint, again, it is 100% worth it. So hopefully that kind of helps at least one person out make a decision. At the end of the day, you're going $140 more for an aesthetic look and going with an Apple product versus a third-party product. And if you do go with this Logitech one, then you're gonna save 140 bucks. And the first thing that I always tell people to do is get a screen protector. And I highly, highly recommend going with the Paperlike screen protector. One thing that I was waiting before I came out with this video to see if you can put a screen protector on this case without the case kind of ruining the screen protector, and you of course can. And the main reason I love Paperlike is because it gives you that resistance that you would get on a piece of paper, especially while taking notes. And I'm a big note taker, handwritten note taker on the iPad Pro. Even with the Magic Keyboard, I pop it off and I'm handwriting all of my notes. I just think it's a lot easier that way. And with the Paperlike screen protector, the quality just increases, and then my peace of mind is also there that I'm not ruining not only the pencil itself, but the original iPad Pro screen. But I highly recommend Paperlike for three main reasons. You get an awesome feel when you're writing on a piece of paper. You can hear it as if you're writing with a number 2 pencil on a piece of paper. You get no glare whatsoever, reduces glare immensely. And that's a beautiful thing, especially when you're outdoors. But at the end of the day, I know it's a quality product that it's going to protect my iPad Pro and keep that resale value up, guys. So shout out to Paperlike for sponsoring this video. And that's gonna do it for this video, guys. So if you have any more questions, anything else you wanna know about this case itself, I'll be in the comments answering a bunch of questions for you. And that's gonna do it for this video. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, comment below what you guys thought about that intro. Worked pretty hard on that one. Peace.